is crazy. I started back in 2020 in June during the pandemic. So I brought a drink for this special occasion. It's a mojito, but I actually bought it like this, mixed already. But I tried it before and it's so strong. I mixed it with water, so like half of it is water. Let's see if it still will be too strong. Wow. How is this possible? There's water in it. I can't. But it's really hot outside, so it's refreshing. Maybe it will be raining soon, I don't know. So, before I'll forget, I'm now part of the Amazon influencer program, which means that if you're buying anything from Amazon already, if you use the link that I have in my description, I can earn a small commission without any additional cost to you. So if you would like to support my channel a little bit more without using real money, which is understandable, this would be a great way, because you're not spending more money. Maybe you're taking like a slight percentage from Amazon's profits, but that's it really. So I currently have a link for the US Amazon, UK, Canadian one, German one, and Australian one. I have 5 currently, because I had to apply to each separately. So if there's one that is missing, just write it down in the comments and I'll get it fixed. So there's that. Okay, let's get to the video. Oh, actually, I also brought a fortune cookie. So I thought I already ate all of them, but I still have, I think this is the second to last fortune cookie. And every time I opened one on this channel, it always had like a terrible prediction. So let's do that now and see what the prediction for probably July would be, because we're almost at the end of June. Alright, I'll open it far away from the mic, if I can do that. Alright, let's see, this is the fortune cookie. Let's try to open it. This is exactly the same prediction that I had in my February ramble, I think. It says, I'm all out of fortunes, make your own one. What did I tell you a few minutes ago? I can't. I will eat it later though, because I didn't have lunch yet. So I will eat it after lunch. Why am I surprised? Why? So, anyways, I'm looking forward to summer. Finally. There's one thing that I'm especially looking forward to. I'm sorry, my hair is kind of bothering me. It's crazy. There's one thing that I'm looking forward to, and that is being able to read outside in the park. Because during spring, I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's too cold. So I always look forward to summer, well, if it's not raining, to usually go late in the afternoon, around like 6 or 7 or 8, to the park and just being able to read, maybe in the shade, or just chill, really. Because throughout the day, let's say on the weekend, out sometimes, so I always have to wait until it's like 6, 7 or 8. But I always choose a location where there's not a lot of people, and I don't stay all the way to sunset either usually. But I just love it so much. I'm looking forward to it. What else? I don't even have that many summer plans this year. So I know, well, there's one plan that I have, and that is that I'll be going to Italy with my friend for a festival in July for a few days. It's not even a full week, so I'm looking forward to that. I know we're planning to do some hiking as well in Italy, so I'm excited. I have never been in Italy before, ever, so I'm excited. I have to learn some Italian words, at least like a little bit, even though my pronunciation will be really bad, probably, but yeah, and that's like the only plan that I have. Also, I will be taking some time off from filming, but I'm pre-filming a lot of videos currently, so no worries. You'll get your weekly videos. I will pre-film all of my Patreon videos as well, so no worries. Like, you will not probably even notice that, I'm gone, because you'll still get your videos, but I will take a break from YouTube a little bit, and that's because I've been super busy these days. Yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of things that I'm currently doing. One of them is starting my own business, which takes a lot of time, and also working on other projects. So in July, basically, I will not be fully taking a break from everything, even though maybe I should. But I just want to have some time to like fully focus on that. But again, no worries, because you'll get your videos anyway. So also, I will probably film a story time after I'll come back from Italy, because usually something funny happens. My friend kind of noticed this too. It's like, when I am a part of a trip, it has nothing to do with me specifically, but usually something kind of funny happens, so I probably will have some material for story time. Like I filmed last year from my friend's trip, so I also will film probably a story time for my Patreon from a past trip. That was also kind of funny. Usually, I don't know, I like traveling a lot, and I like traveling with friends, but I also like traveling by myself. I've always been like that. I always was courageous enough to go somewhere by myself, but the thing is, I don't know, I like traveling, just like sightseeing and going to touristy places, sure, but I also want to get to know the daily life a little bit more, which for a few days trip is pretty impossible. But I've always been like that. I was always interested in languages and other ways of living in other countries. In fact, I don't think I've ever told this story before on my channel, but I thought that I'm going to move to Spain at some point, and I was looking at master's programs in Barcelona, I think, and Madrid maybe too. That would be in English. I was taking Spanish classes, and I just thought that voices already, so it just feels different now. So it's interesting. So yeah, it's cloudy now outside, so I'm worried that the video is too dark, but maybe that's better. I don't know. There's one more thing that I wanted to talk about in this ramble, and I was inspired by Isabel Imagination ASMR, and she makes these rambles where she touches on deeper topics, and every single one of them just resonates with my heart deeply, so I highly recommend it. I kind of would also like to make content like that. Truth be told, I usually save those thoughts for my Patreon, if I'm being honest. But recently she made a video talking about feeling behind in life and how you look around and you feel like everybody has everything, and maybe you have achieved certain things, but you still feel like you're behind. And I can feel that definitely. But this feeling is not necessarily coming from me though, because it's mainly from my family, and I already touched upon this topic, so I've always been kind of like, I don't want to say free spirit because I don't think that exactly describes my personality, but I always knew that I wanted to, live abroad and get to know other countries, and my family was always against it. Strongly, in fact. It wasn't even the fact that I would be like away from my home country. It was just, I don't know, they just didn't like it. They always felt like I should take a different path, or like the same path that everybody around me is taking. I grew up in suburbs, which is essentially like a mix of the city life and the small town life. It's like somewhere in between. But a lot of my friends and my family were more drawn to the small town way of living. As in, you get married right after high school, or get married right after college, and start having kids right away in the same area, in the same small town. Some girls were dating men in high school that were 20 years older. Yes, because it's technically legal. And then, as soon as they finished high school, they got pregnant right away. Right? Like no schooling, no ambitions, nothing. And if that makes them happy, that's okay. But I've always wanted something a little bit different, right? Like instead of trying to force myself to settle down too quickly in a place that I do not really want to be in, I felt like I should follow my dreams first, and then the right person will just come along. And honestly, I feel like this is one of the biggest things that is causing a rift between me and my family. I'm really opening up today here, so bear with me. Even a lot of my friends from high school, at some point, they got to a certain age, and even though they didn't feel like they should have kids with the person they were with at the time, everybody else was telling them to, so they kind of caved in. I'm not like that, right? I have my own mind, and I have my own spine, I guess. But all, you really can't, because there's nobody ahead of you, right? You're not following somebody, therefore you cannot really be behind in life, if that makes sense. And comparing yourself to others in your area when you feel maybe you want something different anyway just doesn't make a lot of sense. And everyone has their own timing. If you're religious, even God has different plans for everyone, right? So it would be boring if everybody did the same thing. So that's where I'm going with this. Maybe it will bring you some comfort. And sometimes I would get these comments from my family like, oh, you're the only one that's unmarried, like you and your friend that I'm going to Italy with, by the way. And I'm like, so what? So fucking what? Right? Meanwhile, none of them lived abroad. None of them want to move abroad. They're pretty much stuck in the same exact place as where they graduate high school, and if that's what they want, that's okay. But let's not compare apples with pears, you know? And life always has ups and downs. You know, there were times where I felt like I was ahead of everybody. Then I felt like I'm behind. Then I felt like I'm ahead again. And the thing is, it's useless to think like that. Everyone has its own timing. Just try to enjoy the moment that you're currently in without rushing to something, without making rash decisions that will just lead you to unhappiness. You know, take your own time. Everyone has their own pace, right? Okay, that was the message that I wanted to give you today, whether you needed it or not. And even though sometimes I feel pretty confident in my decisions, there are times where I just feel like, oh, what if I pursue this career, will I be able to, I don't know, like, get married in like a timely manner? Like, there's a lot of worries that I have on my mind, even though I know that I'm following the right path. And I feel like that's completely normal and okay. But I know, well, at least with me, I know that I would never forgive myself if I would give up now. If I would just do what everybody around me tells me to do, I know that I would not be happy. So I just try to follow my own path, and happiness will follow.